He is the crown jewel, Chase Owens.
What's up, Eric? How are you?
What's up, man? What's up? I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for talking to us. And let's start. Tell me about your first match. Tell me about the first ever match you've ever had in wrestling.
It was at Bristol, Tennessee, against Mikey Duggar, O-Dog, and Big Pimp James, and Mikey Duggar he's been the guy that's, been my friend since I've started. He's the one that started me, but match at the time, thought was great. Looking back at it, probably bad, but just the nerves and the excitement, all the different emotions, getting to do something that, I said I wanted to do and I dreamed about doing, as a kid.
Awesome. And who were some people that mentored you or just helped you learn the business?
I'm sure most people know, Ricky Morton trained me, and a lot of times I was lucky enough to be in the car myself, Ricky Morton, Bobby Eaton, all together, and the area I wrestled in when first starting, Tracy Smothers was used a lot. He just recently passed, and that one really hit me hard because those three guys are, the ones that I spent the most time around, and just gathered all the knowledge.
Yeah, it's great. It's great that you had mentors to help you out and gave you the wisdom of doing things. So tell me about the first ever promotion that really took you in and gave you the ability to showcase what you could do.
A guy named Ricky Nelson, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. He wouldn't wrestle or he wouldn't show the shows, on any streaming platform or anything like that. So only way to see him were live, but, he would have anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 people depending on, the town or whatever. And that's because he was using guys like Matt Hardy, Scott Steiner, Bobby Eaton, Ricky Morton, Dusty Rhodes. It was basically all legends. And, me and my friend would go for months and months, Matt Sigmund, we would go and not be booked, but one night they let us wrestle and we showed what we could do and we wrestled there almost every month for the next 5 years. And, and Ricky Nelson, not Ricky Morton, but Ricky Nelson actually took us on a 10-day tour of, in China, and where we wrestled in China.
That's awesome. And tell me, as you're in the independent scene, tell me just a few matches that you had there that really shaped your character and that you really enjoyed.
We'll start off with just, guys that have never really been signed. Two of my best friends, Jason Kincaid, Matt Sigmund, those guys, anytime we were in the ring together, just felt like magic, and each one got better and better. But, as far as putting me on the map, I think it was Tony Givens, who runs or what was NWA Smoky Mountain at the time. He had the faith in me, and he brought in Ring of Honor World Champion Davey Richards. And that match at the time was the most, it still might be, most difficult, hard-hitting match that I've ever been in. But I feel that match is what, really shaped me and, got me on the map. And, then to New Japan, then the Ring of Honor, or did some shows for Ring of Honor, but again, at NWA Smoky Mountain, I wrestled AJ Styles, which was another match, that I really felt I could show what I could do, and and got me out there.
Yeah, I know one match that I saw recently that I was just amazed on, so entertaining, and it was in the independent scene. It was you and Blake Christian. I know it was new because your ring gear was the updated Bullet Club Tights gear. So tell me about that match, because that match to me was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's again I think he just calls it Smoky Mountain Wrestling now. But Blake is super talented. He's one of those guys that can do all these flips and dives, and he's got out there and gotten a lot of opportunities pretty quick. So he's a hell of a talent. But really enjoyed that match, and that's, you know, me being friends with Tony Gibbons and being in my position, you know, that's the matches that I get when he wants to bring in, you know, some of these guys. You know, myself or Jason Kincaid seem to always get, you know, the big matches.
No, yeah, you're the top stars. You're over here doing big things. You know, it's not only one company anymore. You know, there's big names everywhere now, and that's great. You know, the wrestling I bet, like, you know, when you started out wrestling, it wasn't as easy as it is now. Like, there wasn't that many schools, and it wasn't as easy as just sending a message. I'm pretty sure you had to, like, actually go to these schools and actually, like, sign up for these stuff.
Yeah, you know, luckily, yeah, when I first started with, you know, Mikey Duggar, I was training before the shows. You know, that was 2 hours before the show or something that we would, you know, we were training. That's the only place that we could train. You know, now Ricky Morton has his School of Morton in Chuckey, Tennessee. But when I started riding with Ricky, we didn't have that. So it was the same thing. It was me learning more in the car than actual in the ring. And when we get to these shows, then we'd get in, you know, in the ring or wrestling Ricky and, you know, being able to learn on hand or hands on, you know, I think that's the best way really, because you can't really learn unless, you know, you're in there and you're feeling it and, you know, in those atmosphere with crowds or whatever.
Yeah. So tell me, so like you talked about, you know, you're in the road a lot. You learn more in the car than you do, you know, outside. What is one thing that you learned that you would like to share to us, anyone that's listening, you know, something powerful?
You know, for those young guys, put yourself in opportunities. You know, let your egos go. Just because you're not booked on a show, don't. Oh, I don't want to go because I'm not booked. Because you never know when somebody's going to get sick or, you know, car problems or family emergency or whatever. And if you're not there, and when the promoters need somebody to replace those guys, you know, if you didn't go, then they can't use you either. And, you know, and that's one of the big things. And, you know, and that's the hard part about indie wrestling because you've got to take the sacrifices of driving hours and hours for no money hardly at all. You know, and it just, you know, it's a difficult road. Some have it easier than others, but, you know, put yourself in the right place, right time is definitely the big thing.
All right, and I have a question. So for the independent scene, is that like a one-time done since you are a part of something a lot bigger, and obviously, you know, you're not always in the independent scene. Will we see you more in the independent scene? Is it something that like?
You know, I love doing independent shows because it's, you know, that's how I got my start. You know, and I enjoy meeting new fans or, you know, or wrestling new places, meeting new talent that's, you know, coming up or whatever. You know, I'm always down to wrestle for the independent scenes, you know, but it just depends on schedule, really. You know, I'm here in Japan a lot the last 4 years. You know, I've been coming 6, but the first few years I'd come 4 or 5 times a year or whatever. But, you know, now, well, before COVID, you know, I was here almost every month, weeks at a time. So, you know, just the scheduling, you know, but I definitely enjoy wrestling on the indies, you know, and because that atmosphere is different.
All right, and tell me who you'd want to face in the future in the independent scene. You know, just people you haven't wrestled, the people you have wrestled, and you definitely want to run it back.
I mean, always my buddy Jason Kincaid. You know, he's one of the most innovative person. You know, I don't really know if there's anybody that I haven't really wrestled that I want to wrestle. But you know, but if we go New Japan, you know, I was supposed to wrestle him in February, but he got sick before they flew to the States. But Kota Ibushi, you know, I hope that match, you know, rolls around again.
No, yeah, that'd be an insane. I'll love to see Kota Ibushi versus Chase Owens. That'd be a great match. All right, so let's get to New Japan since that's where we're at now. Let's get to New Japan. Let's talk about how New Japan found you, how you found New Japan. What was the call situation like?
And that goes back to what I said a few minutes ago about right place, right time. I was living in Virginia at the time, and New Japan was doing joint shows with the NWA in Texas. So myself, Jason Kincaid, Chris Richards, Will Huckabee, I think was this time. Yeah, that was Will Huckabee. We drove nonstop 16 hours to, where did we do the first one? Was the first one? No, the second one was San Antonio. We drove to Houston, and we did, we were on the show, but, we did the New Japan tryout, and then we did the show. So then, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months later, same thing. New Japan was doing tryouts with Ring of Honor. So I drove up to Philadelphia, which is, completely other side of U.S., basically, and was doing that tryout. And it was Tiger Hattori who actually came up to me and, hey, man, Texas? I was like, yeah, you saw me in Texas, but, live Virginia. And you still NWA junior champion? Yeah, good. Then it was, I don't know, maybe 3 months after that, I was called to come and have my first match in New Japan. So, I think that goes back to the putting yourself in the places to get the opportunities. I paid money to drive myself, to do these tryouts, 2 different places, and they remembered that.
That's
so
awesome.
That showed that I wanted it.
Tell me how the atmosphere was in your mind as you're getting, to wrestle your first match in New Japan. How were you feeling? How was just, your mindset, your mental health, and any of it?
It was nerve-wracking because here's, one of the biggest companies in the world, and maybe a little biased, but the absolute best professional wrestlers in the scene today, and here I am getting to wrestle for them, and just crowds too, the fans. Like, here I got off the bus, at the Tokyo Dome Hotel thinking, I'm just some new foreigner, but, people were at the Tokyo Dome Hotel waiting, and like they were coming up with pictures wanting signed, and and the magazines, and know the history about me, like things that I wouldn't think Japanese fans would know, stuff from indie wrestling, so that made me feel good.
So yeah, let's talk about a lot of the fan stuff. As now that you are a very big name in New Japan, how is that? How is leaving? I've heard stories where fans would wait outside your door wanting to buy wrestling gear and stuff like that. What's like the craziest story you have to tell about like with fans' experience?
I won't say that I've had any real crazy stories, but there's definitely people that wait outside the venue before and after the show, and they do. They want to buy, gear or pictures or T-shirts or whatever you can, have, and it's because they're big collectors, and that it's great, and it always feels great when you have people, wanting to come up. Like I said, I enjoy, meeting fans because without fans, without people that, buy our merchandise, without, or stuff like that, then we don't have jobs. So without fans, there is no wrestling, there is no Chase Owens. I can't live out my dream, without people supporting me.
Of course. All right. And, let's talk about, as we talked about your, mindset and going into New Japan, let's talk about, some of your matches. What are some matches in your career that, really stood out to you and made a difference, and everyone should check it out on New Japan World and watch it?
Yeah, I think the two, I'm going to say two just because they go together. But last year's New Japan Cup was first round, Juice Robinson, Chase Owens, and everybody said Juice Robinson was going to win. And I ended up pulling out the upset, and then it felt good to be looking on Twitter and listen to everybody complain how I broke their brackets. Then later that tour, I was able to get the U.S. title shot. Didn't win, but those two matches I feel are the biggest one to date. Besides maybe my second match here when I faced Jushin Thunder Liger. But those three matches, probably the biggest ones I've had here.
All right, awesome. And tell me how Bullet Club came to be with you. Tell me who called you up or who helped you get into this awesome faction that we now know, and the history behind it, and how many people have actually been a part of it.
Yeah, so I got Luke Gallows was doing Doc Gallows, Luke Gallows, whatever, he was going. He was on a lot of indies that I was on. He was already over here in Japan in Bullet Club, but just on these indie shows, we connected. So then they needed somebody to tag with Kenny for the Super Junior Tag Tournament. And I also think that was just several months after I wrestled AJ. So I think that match helped. So that's what got it going. Hey, we need somebody to tag with Kenny, and I've been here ever since.
Awesome, yeah, and that definitely opened up the doors because now you're the crown jewel. Now you're a big, long. I want to say you're already an alumni. You've been in Bullet Club for such a long time. It's great to know that you're staying, and that's the place for you. A lot of people jump around a fraction, stuff like that, but it looks like you're doing good for yourself there, which is great.
For life.
So tell me, there's a couple things coming up. There's the World Tag League coming up. There's the Best of Super Junior coming up. You made a really funny tweet. Well, I don't even know if it's. I know who knows what it was, but you definitely want to stir the pot so people could talk. So tell me, in your opinion, what we should look out for, or what's to come.
I'm down 4 kilograms, which is what, almost 10 pounds or something. So you never know. But I have a history in Super Juniors. That was my first big tour here in New Japan. Have history in Tag League. I've done, 3 now? 2 with Bad Luck Fale, 1 with Kenny Omega. And those are always good times, but get grueling. The tournaments here are grueling, wrestling almost every day, and just the stress and wear and tear on your body.
If you don't mind me asking, how is it gonna work this time? Is it gonna be are they gonna put it together, Best of Super Junior and World Tag League, in one show? Are they gonna do air 2 of the same things, or is it gonna be separately aired?
I'm not really sure exactly, but what I've heard rumors on the internet or whatever, I think they're doing Best of Super Juniors one day, and then the next show is Tag League. So almost like the G1 where, the blocks are separated. So A block would wrestle one night, B block the next night, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't know. I don't know the specifications, but
we'll find out. We'll find out when the time comes.
But things I've read on the internet and people that are big into New Japan, or in the office or whatever, I've seen some tweets, and I think that's what they're doing. But who knows? They might change it up and do a little bit of both each night. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we'll see when the time comes, closer to the time. All right. So tell me what you want to do, what goals you have in mind for the future now that, everything's back to normal-ish, and now that you get to, now that you're at home in the ring that, you call home. Tell me what are some goals that you have in mind that you definitely want to accomplish in the next 2 years, and definitely people you want to wrestle. Like you said, Kota Ibushi is one name. Anything that you want to just do in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, you're always wanting to improve and move up the ladder, and I hope within the next 2 years that I'm able to finally pick up, a championship victory, whether it's the Never Six-Man titles, the Never title, the U.S. title, whatever. Yano's King of Pro Wrestling title, trophy, whatever it is, just picking up a big moment like that is definitely the next goal.
That's awesome. All right, and tell me, as what was your greatest wrestling moment in New Japan? What was like the greatest moment, greatest accomplishment, something that just made you tear up at the end of it, thinking about it?
Even though I didn't win, I think my second match here, defending the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title against Jushin Thunder Liger. The guy's a legend. He's bigger than life over here. So being at Osaka Joe Hall, in front of a packed out crowd going crazy when his music hit, that was probably one of the most surreal moments, in my New Japan career.
Phenomenal, awesome, and so here, tell me this. So as we're coming down to our final questions, everyone's watching New Japan right now. Everyone's trying to see what's going on. Bullet Club's going through some patches. There's some not altercation, but there's some misunderstandings. In your opinion, what can you take from this? Like in just to give the audience a say. Like you've been gone for so long, so I'm sure you might not be aware of everything that's going on. But what are some things that you can tell us in your opinion as you're coming back to it?
Yeah, a lot of the foreigners, we weren't allowed in Japan. And while we were gone, things happened. Evil joined, and seeing him and Jay having some words. But, throughout Bullet Club, I've been the guy that, as Kevin Kelly says, I'm the glue. And, so now that I'm back, everything's going to be just fine.
Awesome. That's great. I need to sit on a pillow. I'm the glue. That's amazing. That should be a t-shirt. I'm not even lying to you. That'll be amazing. All right, and our final question before we plug all your social media, plug how we could support you. Final question is, something that we've noticed from New Japan Pro Wrestling is working with other promotions, if it's Ring of Honor, if it's anything else. We've seen people come from different promotions like Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho. What is your take on other promotions like AEW, like Ring of Honor, like NWA, anything? What's your take on New Japan getting more or letting more talents come to your world?
In my opinion, I think working with promotions are always good, because you got people that let's say they watch All Elite Wrestling, but they don't know anything about New Japan. And then here comes New Japan guys on to AEW, and that and it might spark some eyes to to New Japan, because maybe those fans never seen or heard New Japan before, and it's vice versa. Maybe the AEW guys are coming, and and some New Japan fans that don't know about AEW or whatever, so just doing business and getting more eyes on the product, and the better wrestling is, the more big companies there are, the more jobs that there has, and the boys are able to have jobs and able to make money, and and support families, and and live out their dreams.
Awesome. And tell us how we can support you. Tell us how we can support Bullet Club. Tell us how us as fans can do for you now that wrestling is back. Because without wrestling, it's hard. Everyone's going through everything. But now that everything is somewhat back to normal and we can all feel like life is back to normal, tell me what we can do as fans to support you, follow you, Twitch, whatever it is.
Yeah, to watch the absolute best wrestling in the world, it's NJPWworld.com. It's I think it's less than $9 a month, US, or at least close to it. It's under 10, I know. But it's back catalog. You can go back and watch tons of just historic matches. So that's where I would start if you want to watch the wrestling. As far as like social media, you can follow me at Real Chase Owens on both Twitter and Instagram. I just started Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Crown Jewel BC. Follow, subscribe. Anything helps because and like I said, without fans, there's no chase. So I enjoy talking to people or whatever. Answering messages on social media. Might not always get to them right away, but I try to get back to everyone humanly possible. Hell, come on streams, chat while I'm getting killed, whatever. But like I said, I love interacting with fans because, again, that's why I'm able to live out my dream, because of fan support.
Awesome. And how can we support you with merch? If I want to buy a Chase Owens t-shirt or a Crown Jewel shirt, where can I get that?
Pro Wrestling Tees. That's probably going to be the easiest. Sometimes I have shirts in stock that, you can message me through Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I post some things sometimes. Just I find stuff laying around the house in old boxes that I forgot I had or whatever. And, but sometimes I post on there and usually those are the cheaper items that I can part with. So you're better off getting deals that way.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man.